Virgo, welcome to your astro reels. It's my pleasure to read for you. As you guys know, these readings are timeless and signless, so you don't have to be watching these videos at the time that I'm making them, and you don't have to be, under any significant Virgoan placements at all in your natal chart in order for the messages to come through for you. These are actually collective readings, so if it's for you, it'll resonate. And if it doesn't resonate, chances are it's still for you on some level of your field, and I would invite you to take a step back and come back a little bit later and see if you can recognize the messages at that time. If you'd like to work more closely with me, you know exactly where to find me. Yay! And if you haven't yet, please do check out the Ascension readings. I'm putting out more Ascension readings for the Starseed / Lightworker community because I'm getting the call to do that. So it's a bit different from these ones in some ways. But anyway, if you feel called to watch those as well, please go ahead, and you can look forward to the monthly ones carrying major themes within the Lightworking community or Starseed community. I'll just say mission-based community. Okay, there we go. Oh, that sounded like money when it fell down. Mission-based community. So, yeah. Anyway, let's go. What's coming in for you, Virgo? Hold on, let me put on my glasses. I got new glasses. Por fin. Thank you, God. All right. Virgo. All right, so Virgo, the first thing I'm picking up for you guys, or whoever you guys are, these are collective readings, is that there are some confusing energies in your field. Notice I said cute. I almost said cute. Well, I did say cute, and I meant to say confusing, but I said cute instead. So there, whatever that is, it's a message for somebody here, or quite a few of you. There are conflicting, I can't even say the words, I meant to say confusing and I heard conflicting. There's conflicting information in your energetic space. If you don't know already, then please understand that when I'm dipping in to do these astro reels, I'm actually listening to your collective energies for all of the people who could, beings who will potentially be watching these videos across time and space. And so therefore I'm bringing these messages out for you guys in particular. And I'm getting in your field, I'm in there, so I'm dropping down a little bit into your field, and I'm seeing on some level there's information going on, 2 minutes, 22 seconds, and then on another level there's other information going on, and they're conflicting, right? In a sense, we actually live a life of conflict anyway. It's called the belief in separation, and that's what has given rise to all of the emanations across the universes at this time. That's why we have differentiation. But what I'm referring to here for you guys is that you may be experiencing in this fractal universe, by the way, you may be experiencing conflicting and confusing information in your field. So if that is you, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to take a moment. If you feel anything, especially in your solar plexus area and your throat chakra as well, I'm just doing a little bit of separation clearing here. So what I'm doing there is I'm taking these I don't even know what the words are to say, but these bodies of information, and I'm separating them so that you can have a state that is free of all this. Because this is what you get when you've got these two, not entities, this is not an entity thing, but energies, energetic cells, like, a weather cell, moves across the plains. Well, you've got cells, like energy cells in your energy pockets. Thank you, they're saying that's a better word to say. Yeah, energy pockets moving across your cute little energy fields. So sometimes when you get into this place where you feel indecisive, or if you feel bombarded by people, even if it's a family situation or a work situation, or just you get in the car and you turn to one station, you hear one polarity of information, you turn to another, and then you hear the complete opposite, but what are the odds that you'll hear both of them in that one space and time in that moment? Those are energetic manifestations of what's going on in your field. You've got conflicting information that is active in there. So when you get to that point, what you want to do is you have to remind yourself that you're sovereign, you're a sovereign being, you're a sovereign consciousness, and whether or not at this level of experience in the 3D world, you're at the conscious mind level, whether or not you're capable or able or willing or just whatever the word is there, to recognize the degree of agency that is really entailed when we say sovereign being. It doesn't mean that you're not sovereign. So to understand your sovereignty is going to come with more and more aha moments, epiphanies, visceral understanding, the higher in the field that you go, the more clear you go. So somebody down here at one level is going to think about themselves as being sovereign, being in a very fragmented way. And so in one case, they'll be like, oh, I can make my own decisions, I this and that. And the next minute, they're playing the victim role. That's a far cry different from way much higher, way much higher in the field as you evolve and you get, and remember, when you evolve, your consciousness expands. It means your perception expands. You're better able to see the bigger picture. You will start to have much more of an awareness of your agency, your volition, your sovereignty. And so wherever you locate yourself along that spectrum, don't worry, we're all eventually going to head up up in the field. But I want you to know that regardless of what your current level of understanding is, visceral understanding / recognition is of your personal agency in the reality that you are currently living. There is a way for you to take a moment, to sit down, and to what's the word? I'm trying to get these words out. Rather, I'm trying to feel the right vocabulary to come through here. To decide upon, there we go, to decide upon your state of being. So that's what gives, oh, thank you. That's what gives rise to the third, right? So when we have first perspective, first point perspective, there's a point, right? Then when you have a second perspective, you've got a line, right? And how are you able to see both of these? Because if you're here and you're looking there, you're only seeing there. And if you're here and you're looking there, you're only seeing there, right? And so comes a third perspective. And so my point is, if you're ever in a state where you're feeling torn between multiple directions, it is possible, whether or not you're able to see it in the moment, it is possible to stop, take a step back, give yourself, because if you ask for it, it's not always going to be given by the people in your life. Give yourself the permission, the grace, and the mercy, and the forgiveness. Go ahead and say, we out here, self-forgiveness. Which is basically just recognizing your inherent innocence, right? That comes with time and lifetimes of evolution. But give yourself the space to be in a third space. And for us, sometimes we're like, oh, well, maybe that third space is a middle ground, or maybe that third space is a separation from either of those, and there's a recognition of another option, right? So let's say that you're going for the second one, where you've got these two opposing viewpoints. Again, this is an energetic discussion we're having, so it may manifest for you in the workplace, amongst your co-workers. It may be two jobs that seem so completely different and you want them both, right? It could be arguing family members. It could be kids pulling you in two different directions. Whatever this is, just understand that if you find yourself there and you choose, remember they said make a decision, and you make a decision where you would like to be open to spirit bringing in information about a third option or other options, then in that moment be open to hearing what comes through for you, right? And be open to getting a gift, because the gift for us will be the inconceivable. Gifts can be things that we conceive of course, but remember that fourth category, the inconceivable. There are things you know that you know. Hey, I know that. There are things that you know you don't know. Oh, I'm pretty sure I don't know how to file my taxes like a CPA does, right? Then there's that third category where you don't know that you do know something, and then you find out, you're like, oh my God, I didn't know I knew how to do that. Wow, I'm going to take this hobby up. I'm a natural, right? And then there's that fourth category where you don't know what you don't know. It means you can't even fathom. It's inconceivable, not from your higher state of consciousness, because remember, your higher state of consciousness is God. You are literally a part of God. You're within God, and so we can deduce that you are God. Now, whether or not you want to get into your religious programming and start being like, oh, well, no, God isn't, that's all you, right? But what I'm trying to say is that your eternal self knows who it is. But you, maybe you don't. And that's okay. We're all out here making that way back home. But remember, anytime that you're in this duality state, you're in this dream, so to speak, of unreality, where you're not seeing the full picture, there's always going to be that fourth category where it is the thing that you don't know, aka the inconceivable. And so when we ask spirit, our higher selves, our spirit guides, our ancestors, our galactic cousins, you know, the list goes on, right? When we ask for divine assistance, then what you're allowing yourself to do is to be open to having the concept dropped into your consciousness, a concept of something that you couldn't even fathom, maybe you didn't even know it existed, coming from this conscious mind perspective. And that's the kind of multidimensional living that you can have when you start to turn inward, the only real place there is, right? In order to evolve, one must turn inward. And it's one of those things that has a little bit of a learning curve. And a learning curve comes because we live in a place of physicality. And it's so physical that you swear up and down that everything in the physical and the research and the science and the news and the my cousin said this and the old wives' tales and the I saw this happen to that person and oh I made this deduction because this happened to me, all of that seems so real. But it is not real. And the reason you know it's not real is because you observed it outside of yourself. And again, as we talk about that spectrum, as you go higher in the field, back up to source energy, right? This is where we're all heading. Where are we all heading? We're getting back to soul integration. We're expanding our consciousness as we do that. We're moving back from this false state of fragmentation, duality, polarity, and all of that, 11 minutes, 22 seconds. And we're moving back into what? The awareness and the recognition of oneness. Because we're all already one. So the problem is solved. There was never a problem because if you watch this channel, you know very well separation never occurred. The problem is not separation. It's not a real concept. The problem is the belief that you've separated. And so because it never happened, the healing is not to really become one again. The healing is to remember, to recognize that, oh yeah, we already are one, so we never went anywhere. And that's why when we talk about healing, it's about healing your perceptions, all right? So anyway, this message today is for those of you who are definitely having some type of, the word schism is coming in. And it's so interesting the way I'm looking here in this card. Actually, I was looking up for the whole time. I don't know, I'm looking out the window, but I've got so many windows, they're great. But I'm looking here at this card now, and I'm seeing higher up in your field. Some of you have to do some work. Some of you are undergoing some type of transformation, or there's a tension needed in your energetic field, in your, I don't even know what the right words to say are because I'm so not wanting to get into discourse and stuff, but let's say into the crystalline matrix. My conscious mind is fighting the channeling again. I think I'm hearing crystalline matrix, or just leave it at that. It's not the crystalline grid. That's not what we're talking about for this earth. No, it's in your energetic field, your crystal body, your crystalline, why the word's escaping me. Anyway, so I want to say that some of you are, but this isn't it. It's not that some of you are undergoing transformation in your crystalline body, or you're crystallizing, you're reaching that crystal state of in your energy body. It's not that. It's there's some type of something that needs to be worked out. This is the schism, something there. And I know I'm using schism, it comes from a very religious place in history. We usually know that word in terms of religiosity, but I'm using it to showcase the split here. All right, but it still applies because we're talking about an ideological split. Remember, anytime we're looking for soul integration / healing, we're just talking about healing perceptions. So what? When you heal your perceptions, your awareness, your understanding, your belief in what really is, when you do that, you break down the barriers that you've put between you and the reality that's out there, right? In other words, you're deprogramming. And that's what we do on this channel, and you know it. And right now, look at it. Look at this. Why is it in reverse? What does it want to say? Oh, let me get this point out. And right now, again, a lot of us in the collective who are ready to hear these messages, not only ready, but who are willing, because not everyone who comes down who has come down this time to incarnate is interested or is being called in their soul contract to do this kind of work, right? And that's for many reasons. But anyway, I'm just going to stop here so this fits the timing. You know where to find me. Mwah. Bye.